All right, welcome in everyone. We'll give folks just a couple more minutes here to join us before we get started. As a quick reminder, today's session is being recorded and the chat feature is open, so we'd love for you to share where you're joining us from. You can also use that for any questions you may have throughout the session, or feel free to drop your LinkedIn in as well for further connections. All right, so before we get started, I do have a few housekeeping reminders. As mentioned, this session is being recorded. Along with the recording that we'll send out here shortly, we do have a quick feedback survey. It's just 2 questions, and your input helps us to continue to bring great sessions like these to the WGU community. You're also welcome here to use the chat throughout the session to share thoughts or any questions that might come to mind. We do ask that you keep the questions related to today's topic so that everyone can benefit. At the end here, we do have a dedicated Q&A portion. You can drop your questions in the chat. We'll make sure to facilitate those out. And then we do encourage you to continue to register for sessions as we have an exciting Career Quest series planned. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. That's where you'll find these recordings. And then when you subscribe, you'll get alerts for any new content that we get posted. So I see folks here in the chat dropping where they're joining us from. Welcome in. We got someone from Texas sharing their LinkedIn as well. That's fantastic. So we'll go ahead and get started. Hello and welcome in, everyone. My name is Hong Nguyen, and I'm part of the Careers and Professional Development team here at WGU. For today's session is a part of our Career Quest where we connect students, alumni with industry leaders and real career opportunities. We're so excited to be joined by the team from Public Consulting Group, a mission-driven organization that's focused on improving lives and strengthening communities through public sector consulting. PCG is actively recruiting for roles across various industries like education, health, human services, technology, corporate, and they do have a remote summer internship program as well. We're so grateful today to have Guy Reynolds, Director of Talent Acquisition, and Siobhan Burke, Recruiting Specialist, who will be joining us and sharing great insights into PCG's work, culture, and career opportunities. So with that, I will go ahead and turn it over to you both.
Welcome, everyone. Thanks for being here today. My name is Guy Reynolds. I'm the Director of Talent Acquisition, and I'll be presenting today. Siobhan's going to be supporting me and helping me. If you have questions, please throw them into the chat as we're talking along here today. As you hear me go through this presentation, we can use the chat function. Siobhan will be there to answer questions. Whenever we present to colleges and universities, the first thing that comes on mind is pretty similar to some of the posts I see here in the chat. Geez, I want to learn more about consulting. I want to know what consulting's all about. Well, today you will learn a little bit about consulting and what exactly we do here at Public Consulting Group. Public Consulting Group, geez, the most interesting piece you're going to learn today is the firm has been around since 1986. It was formed by our CEO, William Mazukowski. And when Bill started this company, he started it from his kitchen, and he had a vision, and has stuck to that vision since 1986. We're an $800 million company with a year-over-year growth since 1986. And for us, as we've grown, we've also diversified in the different markets that we support and the different places that we do business. What you're going to learn about today, you're going to learn about PCG, you're going to learn about what we do, you're going to learn about professional advancement within the firm, and then we're going to talk about exploring some career opportunities. Siobhan's going to put into the chat our careers page, and I think that's probably the first and foremost one. If you are interested in positions, currently today we have just over 100 open positions. We have about 123 open positions across the firm, across our different practice areas. That careers page will get you to all of our job openings, our current job openings. If you look at the job openings, they will tell you which ones are remote, which ones are in person, which ones are hybrid. So we have a combination of all the above. Our internship program is the link is open for that. We are still accepting applications for our internship program. So we'll talk a little bit about that in later today in the presentation. Next slide. So to get to know PCG, so let's talk about the 35 years that the company's been around and kind of what we do. And I'm not going to read through this entire slide. You can see the slide here. We have PCG US, which is just over 2,000 employees here in the US. We also have PCG Poland, and we also have PCG Canada. So we have two international arms to Public Consulting Group. We currently have 4 practice areas: human services, education, technology, and health. Those are our kind of practice areas. And we have a corporate practice area which supports all of our practice areas. So when you think of state and local government, those are the agencies that we work with and we do consulting services for. So we help with different state agencies kind of maximize the resources, support them in cost cutting measures. We help them with management decisions. We help them with streamlining their business processes, helping them on the technology side as well as state compliance side and optimizing client outcomes. And one of the biggest things for that, I'll use as an example, is if you think of the pandemic and you think of contact tracing during the pandemic, one of our largest clients is the New York Department of Health. And my team, myself and Siobhan and others, we hired just over 14,000 contact tracers for the contact tracing program. And that was spread out amongst many different states, New York being the largest. And so since the pandemic, that New York Department of Health has used us for supporting their local departments of health. And that could be anywhere from business analysts to consultants to senior consultants to program managers to registered nurses to all types of healthcare support, whether that be in person, virtual, remote, all of that supporting those local departments of health. And so that's one big project that we did that helps current state and local agencies. Next slide. What do we do? So if you think about our education practice area, and if you look at these kind of 4 practice areas here, I'll talk about each one of these individually. Our education practice area currently today is currently writing the K through 12 curriculum for the state of Texas. And I saw in the chat here, we have a couple people, I think, from Texas today, or one from Laredo, Texas. So we're currently writing the K through 12 curriculum for the state of Texas. We just finished a 12-year project with the Chicago Public Schools, where we just finished up their curriculum for K through 12. And so not only are we in curriculum writing and content writing and doing all of that in education, but we also support them in many different ways from technology and from the other practice areas. So some state agencies where we come in helping the state of Texas with, or the state of California with curriculum writing from the education practice area. Our health services might be doing business in one of those states and helping their local departments of health and supporting them, or maybe supporting their local EMS services, fire services, and helping with Medicaid and Medicare processing. Our human services practice area works with people with disabilities and helping with the homeless population. We do a lot of work in California with the refugee program that we run in the county of San Diego. So we have 4 offices in San Diego where we do a ton of work for them and helping them find work and help them with finding housing and that sort of thing in human services. And then our technology group kind of supports all of those practice areas. So we might be doing work in Wisconsin. I see someone here from Wisconsin, or Virginia Beach. we do work there, and our technology group comes in and supports the work that either our health or human services is doing in Virginia Beach or in Wisconsin, and they help with the technology solutions. And those four practice areas are have extensive experience, and we do business in all 50 states, including Canada and Europe. And those combining resources where we look at a couple different practice areas that are in there supporting each one of those has been super helpful for local state agencies because we have long-standing relationships where we've been doing business in a particular state through one of our practice areas, and then our other practice areas coming in and supporting them. When you think of a practice area and you think of consulting, and people always ask, what is consulting? I don't know, really understand what consulting is. Consulting breaks down a bunch of different things, and there are teams of consultants and teams that support local agencies. So when we have a particular project that we're working on, whether it be a staff augmentation project where they need people to come in and help their state agency, so we might find the individuals to come in and support them. Then we have a group of people here that support that local agency and work with them as a consultant. And basically, we're helping them anywhere from data analysis. We're looking at data, we're looking at financial analysis. We might be doing different project work around the analysis work in those particular agencies. And the consultant kind of manages that project and manages individuals that are supporting that project from a data analyst or a business analyst or a financial analyst. We do actuary work, so we have accountants that are doing and supporting those agencies. So the different types of jobs that you see posted on our site are working with the consultants on different projects. We have customer service people. We come in. We might run a call center for a state or local agency. And so we do call center work. So we have customer service reps that run these call centers. Then there's a manager of the call center. There are supervisors within the call center. So when you think of jobs within PCG, there's many different facets amongst each practice area. From a technology standpoint, each one of our practice areas has developers. We might be specifically around computer programming, developers for each one of those practice areas. So there's an IT department, there's a finance department. So each one of our practice areas needs accountants, needs accounts payable people, accounts receivable people, might need a business manager or a finance manager or finance supervisor. So when you think of your majors that you guys are majoring in, the school that whatever major you are in school here, think of those skills that you're getting and the degree that you're graduating with, and being able to apply that into one of our practice areas. Each one of those practice areas looks for all different types of majors. Next slide. So professional advancement. So the best way to look at our program, so we have a couple different ways in. One is our internship program. Our internship program starts in the beginning of June. It runs for 10 weeks. It runs to the second week of August. And our interns is one way that college students have an opportunity to get exposed to PCG. We have been ranked for the last 3 years one of the top 50 internship programs in the country. Already for this coming summer's program, we've received over 4,000 student applications for our internship program. That link will only be open for a few more days. So if you guys are interested in our internship program, please apply. Siobhan will put that link for our internship posting. She'll put that into the chat in a few minutes, so you'll see that. So she'll throw that in there. So if you are interested in applying to our internship program, please do so as soon as possible because that link will only be open for a little bit longer. So that's one way to come in. And when you come into our internship program, during that 10-week program, You will be hired into a position specifically for a certain practice area. And so the work that you will be doing, you'll get a chance to be exposed to the consulting type work that we do. You'll be given a mentor, so you'll have a mentorship program while you're here, so you'll be mentored. And then you'll have an opportunity to participate just like a real employee for the 10 weeks. We have a new hire buddy program. We have a Foundations of Success program, which we just started. We basically have taken our high potential new hires that we've hired that have had great success since we've hired them. And we've looked at them and given them the opportunity to be able to tell their story and understand kind of their career aspirations and being able to help them develop and grow here at PCG. Here at PCG, we also have employee resource groups, or what we call ERGs, and I founded and run our military veteran ERG group here at PCG. So we have employee resource groups, so you can join an employee resource group if you want to be caregivers resource group. There is all kinds of different employee resource groups that are available to employees here at PCG. Our Epic Awards, we give out Epic Awards every quarter. Our Epic Awards are for outstanding employees that do a great job above and beyond the work that they do. They get nominated from a committee of people of the type of work that they're doing. So they get an opportunity to be recognized amongst the firm. We also offer career development coaching. So we have a whole team of people in our talent management group that does career development and coaching. There's a performance management coaching group as well. So there's resources and networks of people to be able to support and help you while you're growing your career here at PCG. There's a people growth center, there's a learning center, and there's been lots of programs that we put into place to support our employees. Like I said, we have over 2,000 employees here in the US. We have over 20 offices here in the US. Some of those postings, if you are interested in a career here at PCG, you probably click onto the careers page and it might say a particular state that we're looking for someone for. That's not necessarily meaning that that's where the position is located. We just might be recruiting in that particular area. Like I said, you need to pay attention and look at the job posting because some of those jobs are remote positions. I know majority of you guys might be looking for remote work. So please look at the job posting and look in there. It will tell you if it does say hybrid, what that might mean potentially. You could be working remotely, but then you're required to do client visits. So you might be required to travel to go in to meet with the client or meet with our customer. So that's a possibility too as well. So when you look at those postings, please dig deep into the posting itself so you can see whether or not there's a in-person component, a hybrid component, and or a virtual component too as well. So we have all three. When you think of early career roles here at PCG, as I explained about our internship program, we also have positions what we call ABAs, or better known as apprentice business analyst, or data analyst. And I would say those are your top four kind of entry level early in career roles. So if it is something where you might have a previous internship experience, you might be a senior, maybe you've got 2 years of internship experience and you're interested in a job here, look at the experience level. If you see where it says 2 to 5 years, internship experience does count toward years of experience. So if you're a senior, but you've got a couple years of internship experience and maybe not real world experience, maybe you haven't worked out there yet, or maybe you have, maybe you're in career change and you're going to school, you've been doing something your whole life and you've been in the workforce for a while and now you're making a change. We'd love to consider that too as well. So look at those as entry level roles. We're also looking for individuals with enthusiasm for kind of lifelong learning. We always say that quite a bit. Stay well informed, especially when it comes to state and local government, people that are working in that space. You might have been working for your state department. You might be working in a government job in your local government. You understand that, you've been doing that, and you're interested in the type of work that we do. We love people that are well-rounded individuals, detail-oriented, problem-solving approaches to life and business. So we love to talk to people that definitely have a passion for helping others and the type of work that we do for sure, especially people that kind of understand the type of work that we do and passionate about the work that we do. Next slide, please. Talent at PCGUS. That is, Siobhan will throw that into the link as well. That is the best way to get your resume here, especially if you are on this call today. See, there's a few of you guys on the call here today. Former teacher, yeah, absolutely. We love former teachers. Our education practice area loves to hire people that were former teachers, former educators, came out of the classroom. Definitely someone we would be interested in talking to for sure. Send your resume to the talent mailbox. When you send your email and your resume to the talent mailbox, please note that you are on this call today. I attended this call. I'm interested in your careers. The best is to apply and then send the email to the mailbox. So when you do apply and you do send your resume in, there'll be an ID number to the position that you apply to. So when you send it to the talent mailbox, you send your resume and they say, hey, I did apply and here's the job that I applied to. It is JR or whatever the number might be. It'll probably be JR 101 something. It's usually a 6-digit number that will be along with that. Please make reference to that when you do send it in. That will be helpful so we can kind of link you back to that actual position. I'm going to go through the kind of the chat here and I'll look at some of the questions. I'll see if I can answer those for you. I know Siobhan has been, go back up to the top here. So a couple things here. Someone from British Columbia. PCG Canada does hire. We are looking for some people in PCG Canada. So you can go onto the PCG Canada website, Stan. So if you're up there in Vancouver, so please look at our career site up in Canada for sure. Do we hire executive level consulting positions? I'm seeing some director level positions in IT and healthcare, but I'm curious to kind of the more higher executive level. Yes, we do. One of the things that when you look at our positions, when you think of executive level positions, some of those positions might not be posted on the website itself. So again, please use that talent mailbox and send your resume to there. And please make notes, say, hey, guy, here's my resume, and send it to the talent. So myself and Siobhan manage that talent mailbox. So if you guys wondering where that talent mailbox goes, that's Siobhan and myself. We manage that. Pursuing your MBA, congratulations. Yeah, we love anybody with either a bachelor's or a master's and someone working on their MBA. You haven't completed it yet. Maybe take a look at our internship program. That would be a good one for you for sure. What types of resources are in the Learning Center? And if, I'm not going to make this up, hundreds. Our Workday, so we use a applicant tracking system called Workday, if you guys are familiar with Workday. So there's a whole learning component to that. We have a whole team of talent management people that there's a learning journey that happens for an employee. So they get an opportunity to be able to take all kinds of learning modules that are out there. You can learn on your own time. You'll take the opportunity. So lots of opportunities for that. Looking now, seeing some entry level positions, a few director level positions appear to be on the East Coast. Great question. So again, remember, because it might be listed in a particular state, please dig deeper into the posting itself. Please apply. Does not mean that if you see something posted in a state where you're not located, don't worry about that. Go ahead and apply, because that particular position might be a particular state, but we have projects that are ongoing and rolling at all times. So when we get a new project on and you're an executive level type person and you applied to something that was in the state of New York and you live in Washington or wherever it might be, please apply, because your resume will go into our system. And then when we do get a position open in that state, we can get in touch with you. So, especially in the healthcare space, especially if you're an executive C-suite type, in multiple hospitals, you're in that, is that Jamie? So Jamie, yeah, definitely please send your resume into that talent mailbox, because we can talk more. You're definitely the type of person that we would be wanting to speak with. Business administration majors, good, like that. 20 years experience, yeah, that's great. And again, we love well-rounded individuals, people that are making a career transition, absolutely. Former teacher, and is the best link to have a recruiter look at the resume and see, yeah, great. So myself and Siobhan will definitely take a look at your resume. So go ahead and send it into that talent mailbox, and either one of us, myself or Siobhan, will get back to you. So we can definitely do that. Kent, no problem at all. We can take a look at that. And again, applying through the careers page is great if it's something that's there. If something's not there, you go into our career site, you see that there's nothing there, nothing that fits what you're looking for, please go ahead and send your resume into the talent mailbox. Because again, that might be something where there's nothing, not today, but maybe that will be something that we have for you down the road. So sending your resume into that talent mailbox will be helpful for that. Just going through the chat here. Can you describe a typical workday workflow in consulting? Great question. Think of it this way. I'll use an example. So today I was on a couple calls with a couple different groups. And I say groups meaning there was a consultant, and then there were two BAs, there was a senior consultant, a couple business analysts, a couple data analysts, and a couple financial analysts that were on this call with the client. Okay. And so they met with the client this morning. They are about halfway through the project. So each project sometimes can be usually a 5-year project typically, and then there are triggers to extend the contract. So we might sign a contract up for 5 years, and in year 3, there's a bid process for extending the contract. So this particular group was meeting with the client. They're about halfway through the project. They're about 2.5 years into the project. The project was talking about project deliverables, the work that the consultants and the PCG folks were doing for the client. So part of the call was about progress on the deliverables. So they were talking about some of the data that we were analyzing for this particular client. They were looking for understanding what the data was coming back with, what type of trends, what type of information was coming from the data. Then that was one part of the call. So kind of deliverables, timeline, where are we on those deliverables, what was due, when was it due, what's the update, what's the status, kind of a status update report out on the data. Each one of those people on the call were connected with someone within the state agency, meaning every day our business analyst group, there are 3 or 4 business analysts, they work with someone in the state that's saying, here's the data, we take the data, we analyze the data, we analyze it, and then give the information back to them after analyzing the data. I'm using that as the example. So half of the call was about the deliverables and where they were in the project and the project timeline. And the people that they were hiring. I was on the call because they were talking about staff and staff augmentation. So they were using me to say, Guy, where are we on the staffing needs and how's the hiring going for this project, that sort of thing. And then the second part of the call was, hey, what about the contract? I know the contract has come up. There was an addendum to the contract. So they were kind of basically going through the extension of the contract and what the state needed for information to be able to for us to put in for the extension of the contract. So part of the call was kind of updates and status progress. The second part of it was kind of the contract side and kind of talking about kind of the future of the business and where we're going. And there were some add-ons. They were looking for some more additional work. So there was some other work that was going to come our way from the client itself. So a typical day could be anywhere from, and so those business analysts and those data analysts and those consultants, as soon as that call ended, they had their own team call later this afternoon. Actually, right now, they're actually meeting right now to kind of go over what the client said and said, here's all the things you're doing really well. Here's the things that they are looking for in the next 14 to 20 days. And here's the things they're looking for in the next 30 to 45 days. So they were looking out into the future. So they had a bunch of deliverables and things and timelines that they need to check off. So they're going to regroup this afternoon to make sure that the work is getting done in a timely manner. In that same token, they're going to come back to me and saying, Guy, we need 2 more data analysts because we can't keep up with the amount of work that keeps coming in from our client. So that's where I come in from a staff augmentation, or Siobhan comes in and they say, geez, we need to add more people in to our team to be able to deliver to our client. So hopefully that answers your question. That would be a typical day. And then the work, and then whatever work that that team is doing, and then the managers and supervisors have to manage the types of deliverables and the type of work that they're doing. So example, locations, US, full-time, remote, posted 30 days ago, job requisition ID. Yep, that would be a good piece. Because you see a job posted for more than 30 days, don't read into that. We might be hiring multiple people. So Siobhan has been in the process of hiring about 51 pre-ETS. That's just herself has been hiring about 51 pre-ETS roles all across the country, and Siobhan's been working on that for a while herself. And Siobhan, how long have you been working on those 51 roles now ish?
Probably about 3 months now, so they can be up there for a while. Don't let that discourage you.
Yeah, by any means. And the problem is sometimes we hire. So Siobhan hired 2 people in Indiana, and then we got on a call with the manager, and the manager said, "I need 2 more." And she just hired 2, and she was only supposed to hire 2, and they're like, "That's exactly what I'm looking for. I need 2 more of those." And then Siobhan hired 2 more people, and they said, "Okay, we'll hire 4 more people next week." So because you see a job that's might be posted up there for more than 30 days, it's probably because we were hiring for one project, the project gets extended, the client tells us it got extended, and now we need to add to staff. Even though it's been open for 30 days, we're trying to fill it. We filled it, we got it extended, now we got to hire more. And then in the meantime, we landed 2 more projects. So projects come and go, projects ends, project starts, project ends, projects continue all the time. So sometimes we leave jobs up there because we're hiring for that all the time. And it's not because we have turnover. We actually have a very low turnover rate here. We're just hiring because more and more projects keep coming on. That's why those projects get hired. I have an MBA, I have a master's certificate in project management, and looking for some work virtually. Project manager, PMP certifications, project manager, master certificate. Absolutely. And we have those roles virtually. So please look at our website. You can see that on there. Question, is there a specific age range targeted as someone who is 18 years old with little job experience, ensure that I can effectively participate in this meeting? Absolutely. I would tell you there are some jobs, and I think of your pre-ETS roles, right? Siobhan is probably a good example. That's in our education practice area. Siobhan's searching for about 50 of those people across the country. I'm not sure where exactly you're located, but as we do hire individuals that are early in career, 18, 19, 20 years old, just getting started in the workforce. We definitely have work for you. There's definitely roles in there for you for sure. Focuses in travel. I grew up in North Dakota, live in Germany, now living in Utah. Worked in tech support a number of years going back. School data analytics, absolutely. We have a huge contract in North Dakota, and we have a contract in Utah as well. So we do work for both of those two states in tech support. So please look at our IT positions. Now, IT positions, technical roles, that sort of thing, that is located in each one of our individual practice areas. So when you go onto our website, say if you're a tech person on the call here today and you have a technical background and you're a developer, you're an IT person, each one of those jobs are going to be individually listed besides Corp Tech. Corp Tech is one of our practice areas, which does a lot of technical work. Each one of our practice areas has a list of developers. We do onshore developers, offshore developers. So if you're a developer or IT, anywhere in that IT space, each one of our practice areas hires for that. So please don't just think of the tech space when you go onto our website. Don't just go to the TC, or we call technology group. Don't just go there. Make sure you go to each one of our practice areas. How does PCG support employees who are motivated by service-driven work? I can tell you the best part about this job here, and Siobhan will tell you the same. We are a for-profit company doing work in the nonprofit space. So we're helping state and local governments. We're helping people with disabilities. We're working in the human services space. All the work that we do in human services, the work that we do in health. So helping them in that service work is the work that we do. How about someone who did their MBA 15 years ago but never used it, got some job experience? Absolutely, for sure. Those are types of people that we definitely look like. Masters in Arts in Audiology, 25 years, sales, accounting management, big med device company, career shift. I've been consulting urology practice. Yeah. Yes. Healthcare admin. Yes. Update your resume. Definitely send it to us. Definitely get it to us in that talent. Again, Siobhan will put that into the chat. We're going to keep putting that talent mailbox email address into the chat so you guys have that. Interview process. That's a great question. What is a typical interview process? Each one of our jobs are a little bit different. So those jobs and those interview processes depend on the job itself. But typically, once you send your resume in, your resume then is reviewed so once you apply and you've applied to a position, we have here at PCG what we call manager self-service, which means the manager has visibility to your resume after you apply. So also one of my recruiters works with the manager on the resumes that come in through the job posting. So manager gets to see your resume, recruiter gets to see your resume. If there is interest, what will happen is the recruiter will reach out and give you a call to do an interview. Once that interview is completed, then the recruiter gives feedback to the hiring manager saying, yes, I spoke to the applicant, he or she applied, and I did my interview, and here's my notes. And then the manager and the manager's team makes a decision whether or not they would like to bring the person in for a second interview. So typically, and I say typically, it's anywhere from, I would say, 3 to 4 interviews in total, one with the recruiter, and sometimes 2 to 3 with the team itself. Now that depends on the role. Sometimes depends on what level you're at, depends on what role you're in. So there's some complexities to that. If it's director level, senior director, executive level, that search could be longer, could be more interviews, could be teams of people that you might be interviewing with. If it's a very technical role, you might be meeting with the technical team. You might meet with the technical team a couple times. So that all depends. It's not just the same for each position. Each position's a little bit different. As far as applying and what's the standard turnaround time for a response of application submittal, that's a great question, William. I would say one of the things that's really important that you guys understand, when you apply in Workday here at Public Consulting Group, you can track the status of your resume. You're actually going to set up an account. You're going to go into our portal through Workday. You're going to get the opportunity to apply. You'll actually have a profile set up in there, and you can track the status. Where's your application? Where is it sitting? Who's reviewed it? How long has it been sitting there? Has the recruiter reviewed it? Has the recruiter submitted it to the hiring manager? Has the hiring manager reviewed it? Where is it? And what is it? You'll get an automated response that will tell you that we did receive your application. And then there'll be status updates throughout. So you'll have the opportunity to go in there and track that. So if you are looking in there, you can definitely track the status of your application when you're there. Sounds like you applying twice, once online or once by emailing. Great question. If you are attending today's session, just so that we know that you attended today's session and you are interested, send us your resume at that talent mailbox. That's all. That's all we're asking. That way we know you came from this event. Siobhan and myself do these events all the time, all over the country, different colleges and universities. We want to attach you to this call today. That's why we're asking you to go to the talent mailbox. If you go to the website and you see a position, need to apply to it, that's great. So it's basically two. By sending your resume to that talent mailbox, that's just letting us know you were here today. And then the other one is actually applying to the position that you're interested in. So the question, hopefully I'm answering your question. Yes, applying twice is you're only applying once, but then you're submitting your resume to that talent mailbox so that we knew that you attended today's session. I do encourage people to apply more than once, because if you just apply to one position, there could be another position that comes up in another practice area, in another area of our business that you might be perfect for. So if you just apply once, I encourage you to go keep checking our website. Like I said, we have over 100 positions available today that we're hiring for. So please make sure you go in there. Now, those positions get updated daily. In fact, I have 2 more that I need to add to the job board since we've been on the call. I got notification that 2 new jobs need to be posted. So I'm adding 2 new jobs here in the next hour. So please constantly look at our job site, our career site. That will give you more information. Siobhan will throw that career site again into the chat now that I said that again. So if you are interested, or if you're just, I see a couple people just joined in a few minutes ago. Any specific format that works best for resumes? Any particular factoids to be included? Great question. I would say the biggest thing is if you can put the skills and things that you've learned at WGU, or skills that you've learned in maybe you're changing career, maybe you're later in career, maybe you have experience with something, please put that in there, especially like Excel, Word, anything that can help kind of separate you from other applicants, things that are important in there, things that could be helpful for us, specifically to the job description itself. So please look at the job description, see if there's some skills in there that you can list out. Even if you've taken a course in Excel, or you've taken a PowerPoint presentation, you're good with PowerPoint, make sure you get that in there, that sort of thing. So please list those in there. Current and previous changes in policy, ruling, contracts, average timeline, discovery stage, state agency projects, kickoff. Ooh, that's a great question. Yeah, there has been changes, and there has been changes within contracts themselves. There has been some changes in there. How does that rulings or changes or policy or contract changes, how does that change us? It actually helps us. So if there are changes at the federal level, that pushes it down to the state level. The state and local government is the work that we do work in. So if there's changes at the federal level, that impacts the state. That means they need our help. They need our support. They need us. They need us because they're not getting that support from the federal level. So sometimes those changes increase our business, for sure. Does that change or slow down project kickoffs? Sometimes, but it's more in the sense that the scope of the work might change, not necessarily that the project ends or the project stops. It's more just a kind of a redirect, looking at the business, looking at the deliverables for the project might change. The scope of work might change, not necessarily the project ending, or the project might be kicking off at a different time frame just because of those changes. I think I got through everyone. Any other questions or anything that we can answer? Some great questions in here today. I know myself and Siobhan participate in a lot of these sessions, so to see a lot of great questions in there has been fantastic. That's helped the dialogue for sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Guy and Siobhan. We'll give it just another minute here for any questions. If you do think of some later on, you're also more than welcome to email us and we'll make sure that gets through. And then I'm seeing some things come through here in the chat. A lot of great questions and engagement, so thank you for that. Just seeing a lot of good things come in here. Awesome.
And I would say, I think one of the things that always, when we come to these events, I think everybody's always wondering, what is what is PCG? What do they do, right? And what is consulting? I don't know what consulting is. And hopefully today's session gave you a good understanding of the company. Like I said, fantastic group of people, an amazing organization. We have an amazing CEO, our mission, our vision, our values, what we stand for, who we are, the business, the people that we support, the work that we do. Out of our 25, it's almost 25, it's probably about 2,300 employees. We have a huge population of people that have been here over 20 years and people that have worked here for a long period of time because of the good work that we do and the organizations that we support. So I really appreciate WGU and the staff and everybody that's been super helpful for us. And you guys are going to school at a great university that is helpful in helping you kind of take the next step in your career. So when you're done with WGU, this careers office, you guys have done a great job with supporting them and allowing us to be here today to speak to you folks has been truly rewarding. So thank you for that. And Siobhan, anything else you want to add? I know I did all the talking today, but anything you want to add to
I was gonna
that?
say, I think you pretty much covered anything I would say. Hopefully those links in the chat are helpful to you all. And yeah, I'll just echo everything Guy just talked about.
I will ask Siobhan to say two things about her since we got another minute here to go. But Siobhan, tell everybody on this call here today how did you get here to PCG and how
Yeah.
long have you been PCG? So
Yeah, I have a good story actually. So I started as an intern here. It'll be 2 years in March, which is crazy, pretty crazy to think about. So I started as an intern while I was in college, and then I graduated from college this past May, and then I turned into my full-time role here as recruiting coordinator. So that's kind of how my journey at PCG and how I'm here now. So very excited to come to events like these and connect with this community. So yeah.
Siobhan went to the University of Alabama, graduated from the University of Alabama. Would you graduate at the University of Alabama with Siobhan for a degree?
Advertising and sales is what I graduated in.
Advertising and sales. And are you working in advertising or sales, Siobhan?
Nope.
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 And I
Neither.
graduated college with a marketing management degree and never spent a day in marketing management. So, and I say that to students all the time. Think about that as a bigger picture, right? Sometimes you find something that you're really passionate about in the work that you do. Siobhan came in as a what we call HCM, which is Human Capital Management, or better known as HR. Came in as an intern to help support the internship program. but she was interested in recruiting and interested in that sort of thing. And Siobhan's being humble. She did come in as a recruiting coordinator, got hired as soon as she graduated, and she's already been promoted to a recruiter. So congratulations to Siobhan in her short period of time here. But my advice to you guys, no matter what you major in, no matter what you do, find something that you're passionate about and believe in the company that you work for. And that's all I can say. But thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having us here today. And hopefully you guys learned a lot. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Guy and Siobhan. We'll go ahead and conclude today's session. Thank you all for joining us and for all the great questions throughout. You'll receive that follow-up email with a quick survey. It's just 2 questions, and your input continues to help us bring great sessions like this to the community. And of course, we'd like to extend a big thank you to you, Guy, and Siobhan from Public Consulting Group for sharing your time, insights, and the exciting opportunities available at PCG. We truly appreciate all the great information and for taking the time to answer all of our questions today. Thank you everyone so much for joining us, and we hope to see you at future sessions, which you can find on Handshake. Other than that, wishing everyone a fantastic rest of your day. Take care.
Thank you all.
Thank you.